Coming Sunday, the Springfield Chamber Players will perform a unique children's concert dedicated to Johnny Appleseed.
Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson has more.
It's making classical music accessible to the widest variety of people possible.
On Sunday, the Springfield Chamber Players will perform Johnny Appleseed. The concert is inspired by Jane Yolen's book about the legendary character who grew up in Longmeadow.
I wrote the piece in 2008 for an anniversary of the town, and it's always a delight for a composer to get a second performance of any of his pieces.
Pianist and music composer Clifton J. Noble says this weekend show will be fun for the entire family. He tells us concerts like these are important because they open children up to new paths and opportunities.
It's essential for kids to have music in their lives. I don't know where I would be without it, and it scientifically has been proven to increase all kinds of mental acuity, and it will serve them throughout their whole lives.
Not only are live performances like Johnny Appleseed important for kids, but it can also become an eye-opening experience for adults. Noble tells Western Mass News he believes music has the power to impact our own perception of the past.
Music can preserve history. It can illuminate how we think about historical figures and figures of the present day. And it's just so powerful, music is. It can draw pictures and spark memories and all kinds of things.
Western Mass News also spoke with narrator and public relations for the Springfield Chamber Players, Mark Auerbach. He explains why it's so important to have events like these in our area.
To have live performing arts in your neighborhood is a very essential thing. Not everybody can go to Springfield Symphony Hall for a symphony concert or drive to Hartford to go to the Bushnell. But most people in Longmeadow could come here. They could walk. They could come on their bicycles.
To learn more about the Springfield Chamber Players' upcoming concerts and events, you can head to our website, westernmassnews.com, for details. Reporting in Longmeadow, Addie Patterson, Western Mass News.